Hey, and good Tuesday morning to you. I'm Dalia, along with Carlos and Lindsay, back for an extra shot of sunrise. The sunrise, maybe you can't see it just yet because there's a little bit of fog out there this morning.
Right,
but it is going to be clearing out relatively soon for some nice, sunshiny last summer hurrah type weather.
A couple days of summer, that's right. Yeah, going to be pushing 90 both today and tomorrow. Eventually, we're going to warm things up, but it has been a bit of a rocky start to the day. We had one school delay, and we also had a dense fog advisory get issued just before 6 o'clock this morning. We've also got a couple traffic issues I wanted to let you know about. Now, this happened couple of hours before our morning show. There were two semis involved in a crash on I-70 eastbound near Knightstown. So all traffic is now being diverted. These are the eastbound lanes of I-70. All traffic being diverted at the Greenfield exit now. You can see crews out there getting everybody off of the interstate. It's going to take, we just got another update from NDOT, a couple hours still. I-70, all lanes are going to be blocked near the Knightstown exit. So if you're traveling from Indianapolis toward Ohio, that whole stretch there going to be impacted by this. So wanted you just to be prepared for this. Initially, they were diverting traffic at 109 onto US 40, but now US 40 is going to be that alternate route. Now you can get back on the interstate at the Newcastle exit, which is State Road 3. But just keep this in mind over the next several hours. It's going to be a big time issue there. We've also had a crash on the south side along 465 westbound at State Road 37 there on the city's south side. So that's caused quite a backup there all the way back to around the I-65 junction, in fact. So please keep that in mind. Weather-wise, yes, we had some fog develop, and this dense fog advisory that got issued for the southern half of the state going to be in effect through about 9 o'clock today. Visibility should start to improve now that the sun is up. We've still got near zero in Bloomington, same deal down near Bedford, but over the next several hours that should get a little better. Now a warm front is moving through today, so while it feels a little crisp out there now, later today a high of 88, 91 tomorrow. Cold front brings some rain in Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and then kind of just in time for the start of fall, we're back to 72 for Thursday afternoon.
Look at that low on Friday, 46.
46.
I close my eyes when I look at that far down the yeah.
Well, Hollywood is honoring the first American Idol winner. Singer and talk show host Kelly Clarkson received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame yesterday. Clarkson first entered the national spotlight as a contestant on the singing competition American Idol back in 2002. Clarkson has released 9 studio albums and 2 children's books. Her star is now the 2,733rd star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Now, do you guys, I mean, first off, Kelly Clarkson deserves a star on the Hollywood. She's amazing. She's an amazing talent. Baby, look, I can't believe it's been 20 years since she won American Idol. Okay, but do you guys know how it works? You have to pay to get your name on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
But they have to ask you to do it, right?
No. It is strictly, there's a campaign, so your agent or your manager will start a campaign and then they'll accept it. Like they will accept, yes, but then you have to raise a ton of money. Like all the money that goes to like putting that star in is all like provided by the star or that person's agent or manager or whatever.
So they don't at all like, oh man, like you would be a good inductee, and like if you come to us with you've got enough support behind it, then
it's kind of the reverse of that. It is the person's representation going to the city of Hollywood and saying, hey, we would like them to be considered. So it's kind of like it's an unusual thing that people don't realize.
I didn't know.
Yeah, that you're kind of paid. But like I said, she totally deserves it. And a lot of times you'll have agents or managers who want to keep their client, and they do it as a gift. You know.
Oh, that's okay.
So it's like you know.
See, what I always wondered. And this might be a very ignorant question, so don't laugh at me if you are familiar with this. I always wonder, like, how, like, is there a certain, like, like, how many more stars can they keep adding? Or do some people have to keep coming up?
Infinite.
Because it's not infinite, because there's so much space, but there are so many squares. Right now, it's like every other square, and then it gets more pop. You know, where you are on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, if you're next to the Chinese Theater, that's awesome. If you're down the street at Ripley's, believe it or not, that's a little less awesome.
This is a long stretch with plenty of room to grow.
It's a lot of room. There's a lot of room.
Okay,
I mean, you could probably put a few thousand more stars on there.
Yeah.
So, but I just, you know, I'm not going to mention the person. He's very successful and he's very rich. And he's a very good guy. But he got a star early in his career, and everyone was like, how'd that happen? And
What
then,
did you do?
And then it was explained to me that, well, his representation paid for it, and that's what happens with all the stars people. So it's kind of a cool thing. But Kelly Clarkson completely deserves to have a star, to be in the Hall of Fame. She's amazing. So
This is, now that we know the secrets to the stars on the Hollywood Walk of
just
Fame.
telling you. By the way, there's 2 Michael Jacksons on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. There's a radio host, Michael Jackson, and there's the artist, Michael Jackson. I know this because when Michael Jackson passed away, I was working in Hollywood, and people were putting flowers on the wrong Michael Jackson star.
Oh, okay, an actual different Michael Jackson.
There's a guy named Michael Jackson who was in radio, and there's a guy, and then there's Michael Jackson. And so when Michael Jackson passed, people were putting the flowers on the wrong Michael Jackson.
Ooh.
The radio host, Michael Jackson. So
Okay.
just like little tidbits for you.
Now we know that secret. We're going to talk about the secret to a lasting marriage. So the experts here, 300 couples who celebrated 50 years of marriage over the weekend in Chicago. That is amazing. These couples are from all over the Chicago area. They were joined by their families at this very special event. So people ask, of course you have to. You get this many, not newlyweds, oldyweds in the building. You got to ask, like, what's the secret? They say, a lot of them said, never go to bed angry.
very
Don't you
big.
hear that? You know, you have to communicate. You can't read each other's minds. Another person said a sense of humor is so important. I think all those things sound good, but I think that you kind of said that too. You were like, your grandparents have been married for 65 years,
Yeah.
and it's like separate space.
At some
is,
point,
like,
you got to just have
is
your own
important.
area.
Yeah.
You know, you live in the same house for almost 7 decades.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you go here in your living room. I'm going to be in my living room.
Yeah.
We'll have dinner together, and then you got to have that.
So say my parents have celebrated 35 years recently, and I feel like they 100% like have separate activities and things that they like to do together.
Exactly.
And there are certain things that my mom is like, I don't want to be bothered when I'm doing this. Like, you know, like this is not we time, this is me time.
And I think and I agree with both those, by the way, you do need me time, and that is very important. I try to give my wife as much me time as possible for her to like do her thing, and because you need to, because like if I always tell, my best friend's name is Kevin. Okay, if Kevin and I spend more than 3 days together, we're gonna kill each other.
It's,
You know,
it's a
like-
lot. Yeah.
So it's like, so you know, your wife and you spend all that time together. You know, at some point you're gonna be like, you know. So yeah, me time is important. But you know, especially with social media today, and with all the different ways to communicate with people, trust is so important.
Oh, for sure.
Because it used to be like, you know, well, we live on a farm and, you know, and we have our kids and we have this, or we live in a neighborhood. And it's like, you didn't need to worry about, you know, the wandering eye or whatever. But today, there are so many different things being bombarded with you. You need to say, I totally trust you in every single way. And look, are you ever going to find a guy that you can totally...
I'm not married, so this ain't even about me.
By the way,
Yeah.
my wife knows, and not because she asked.
Yeah.
My wife knows the passwords for every one of my email, my Facebook. She knows all, and it's like, and she knows the password for my phone. There are no secrets as far as like you can check my text, because it's just like, and once you open that up and go, here you go, then everything is just like, so that's, I say trust, especially in today's day and age, is the big thing.
I'm on that level too. What? I know all the passwords.
I'm like,
I don't need to.
Yeah.
But I do.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nice to know.
You
It's
nice
like,
to
I
know.
never-
You like, you know, so you know, you trust. And I think too, if you go, here you go, you know, here's the passcode. You know, it's like, then there's, you know, there's nothing to hide. You know, and so
I'm like, let me see the other phone. It's got to be another one. It's got to be another
you
one.
can't
I'm
look at
handing
this phone.
one over.
You want to see this phone? No, you
Yeah.
can see this
I'm like, I
phone,
can see
but
both
you
of
can't
them.
see this phone.
Yeah, but
all right, let's talk about much more lighthearted things before Leah starts. Former New York Giants quarterback Eli Manning. He went undercover as a walk-on at Penn State University. There's Peyton critiquing Eli's look. There's the look.
Oh,
Look at
man.
the nose.
That's funny.
That stash looks legit. He had facial prosthetics. He had a blonde wig, a mustache. He even got a call from his big brother Peyton. As you just saw, Eli uses the alter ego Chad Powers, Danger's my middle name, telling the Nittany Lions he was homeschooled and had no experience. Immediately, he impressed the coaches with his spirals and tight passes. But it wasn't until he declared him. He wasn't all fun and games. He was declared ineligible. So then he revealed himself to the starstruck students as Eli Manning. So you're saying he was ineligible because he was he was
I feel
26?
like that was the age too, but you know, so like they're all competing against each other, obviously, for like these couple spots that they have. So you know, you can see them like starting to take notice, and they were relieved even before they found out that like, oh, they're like, oh, he's ineligible. I feel like they were like, ah, man. But like, whew. Yeah, Yeah, but okay, so the funny thing I was saying, it's like a 15-minute video. So if you have time, guys,
I want to
go
watch
check
it.
the
I'm gonna
video
watch it.
out.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's it's like you can, like the coaches and stuff, like they don't really know that they're like mic'd up for, you can hear like the comments, or like mic'd up for this reason. You can hear like the coaches are like, I don't know, man, I see something in them. Like, I think we can make this work. Or like, they're like, oh my goodness. Like you can even hear some of the, like the kids that are, I don't want to call them kids, but like some of the students that are like asking like about his background and stuff like that. Because he saw on the list, it said, you mentioned, it said he was homeschooled. So I think that, Bailey, were you saying that it said that his mom was his coach?
His mom was.
Yeah, that's. He
his
listed
mom.
it as yeah. So that his mom was. It's very funny. If you have 15 minutes to spend, that's the coach that was like, I think we can make this work.
He's what? I mean, he can
This
win
kid's got something.
He won 2 Super Bowls one day with the Giants.
I think it's pretty good. I do, really quickly, I know we're going to wrap up, but I did have a couple of comments on Facebook that I wanted to share because we were talking about the advice from for a lasting marriage, and we got some good ones. So Daniel Moore said the advice that he gives to young people when it comes to marriage is to follow your grandparents' advice. If your grandparents were married 50 years or longer, my grandfather's advice to me was simply remember 2 words: yes, dear. That was very similar to what you said
I
this
always have
morning.
the last words, and it's always yes, dear.
And then, and Jenny says, God first in our marriage, loving, trust, communication for Team Kelp. So shout out to y'all. And let me see if there are a couple or more.
And I'll give the advice too. It's very simple. You need 2 people who really want to be married, because that's a kind of an umbrella statement. Because if you really want to be married, then you're going to do the things like trust your spouse, you know, give them their space, you know, say yes, dear, even when you think you might be right.
Yeah.
By the way, I learned that, you know what, it's not worth give the yes, dear, and then go back and think about like issue, like rather than fight over something, like say, you know, okay, you know, and then seriously, 9 times out of 10 when I think about it, she's right. And like so I already gave the yes, dear, and it's like if I would have argued with it, then I would have been wrong eventually.
Anyway.
Yeah, so like I wasn't wrong. So it's like you say, so you agree. And by the way, my wife knows that she is the better part of the relationship. So like I am constantly going to her going, how do I handle this? How do I handle this? And she's constantly giving me advice. And when I get in trouble is when I don't go to her.
Partnership.
You know? Yeah, so we make a good duo. The yin and the yang, she's the good and I'm the bad. So, you know, there you go. So that's there.
Well, on that note, y'all, hey, we've got some good comments on Facebook. You can continue probably even after we stop on Facebook if you want to share some of your comments with us. But I hope you have a great, we at Tuesday? Oh, we're not this close to Friday as I thought. But hey, that's all right because we got that cold weather coming in. So I'll stick in the beginning of the week, guys. Have a fantastic Tuesday. We'll see you dark and early tomorrow morning.